Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts. We begin tonight in Nunavik. The region is ending the year with a record number of tuberculosis cases. But officials say more resources are coming to Nunavik and across Inuit Nunangat. Samuel Watt has our top story tonight.
Jessica Hua takes issue at the way Nunavik's tuberculosis outbreaks are being treated.
In any southern region, a disease with this incidence would trigger emergency funding.
And that's because the region has one of the highest rates of TB in the world, according to the Regional Health Board. As of Wednesday, the region has recorded 112 cases, the highest reported level in recent history. But Hua says funding discussions with the Quebec government are going well. It's now a case of striking deals on other resources like housing, infrastructure and other social services. But there's also the federal funding issue.
We have not met that target for eliminating TB by 50% for 2025.
That was one of the goals the federal government and Inuit Tapiri Kanatami had set across Inuit Nunangat back in 2018. The other commitment being to eliminate TB in those regions by the end of this decade. But right now, Nunatsiavut, Nunavut and Nunavik are battling TB outbreaks.
Now, in saying so, Inuit are still hopeful and continue to be hopeful that we will work towards that elimination timeline by 2030.
That hope is contingent on federal funding continuing beyond 2026. Indigenous Services Minister Mandy Golmasti says an announcement is forthcoming. But at the heart of the issue isn't case numbers or dollar figures. Hua says it's a human toll.
Families are worried, parents miss work, kids miss school, kids and parents can be separated for weeks at a time.
Despite the high case numbers, Kagaksujuak Maya Kialak Napaluk believes there's good progress being made. With all the awareness this year, she says more Nunavimut have been coming forward for testing and treatment. She's also optimistic the 2030 goal is still possible.
We don't want to see TB harming the Inuit. Not only for Inuit, all the human being.
Samuel Watt, CBC News, Yellowknife.
In the Yukon, 3 former employees of the Liard First Nation say they faced harassment while working for the nation. All 3 of their claims have been independently verified through federal workplace investigations. Those reports describe a, quote, culture of inappropriate behavior, high turnover, and lateral violence inside the First Nation. The CBC's Callie McTavish has been going through the findings and speaking with the former employees.
One former Liard First Nations employee, Tracy Nolan, says she was verbally and physically assaulted at work. Her investigation substantiated her claims.
So she'd run into me with her shoulder nice and hard, and I would just ignore it and keep walking through the hallways.
When the executive director tried to have the co-worker suspended, Liard First Nations Chief Stephen Charlie intervened. The chief terminated the executive director for refusing to reverse the suspension. The report called the termination retaliation akin to intimidation. Catherine DeRocher was Tracy Nolan's manager at the time. She was in the executive director's office when the call took place.
That's when he received a phone call from Chief Charlie, who was telling him to rescind the suspension. And so he was essentially threatening the ED that I was working with at the time that he was going to remove him, which he ultimately did that day.
Another employee, Jesse Johnson, was the Capital and Infrastructure Projects Director at the time. He says he witnessed financial irregularities and conflicts of interest. The Labour Board investigation corroborated this, finding Charlie awarded contracts without a competitive process and interfered in day-to-day operations. The former employees told CBC the organization went through 9 executive directors in 4 years. Altogether, the reports describe a toxic work environment. The former employees say the allegations in their reports barely scratch the surface. CBC independently verified the nation has faced fines from the Labour Board for delaying investigating workplace harassment complaints, including one fine for $21,000. CBC reached out to Liard First Nations Chief Stephen Charlie. He responded that the nation is abiding by the Labour Board's processes and implementing its recommendations. Callie McTavish, CBC News, Whitehorse.
Residents in Tuktoyaktuk NWT are being told to prepare for blizzard conditions on Friday. Right now, the community is under a code orange weather watch. A meteorologist with the federal government says the watch will likely escalate into a warning. And when that weather hits, people can expect it to last days, even if it seems like it ends early.
And blizzard conditions are expected again beginning Friday afternoon. They will likely extend through the weekend. There may be a period of time on Saturday where the conditions improve briefly, but we are expecting the conditions to deteriorate again. So if the residents in Tuktoyaktuk see that improvement, it is likely not to last. So to be prepared for a second wave of blizzard conditions later in the weekend.
Environment Canada says travel delays and flight cancellations are possible, and conditions are not expected to improve until Sunday. In Nunavut, Rankin Inlet residents are being asked to conserve power as half of the community's power generators are out of service. Goodlick Energy Corporations wants people to lower their thermostats, only use high-energy appliances like dishwashers before 9 a.m. or after 7 p.m., and make sure a household emergency kit is ready in case of a power outage. RCMP have charged a 54-year-old man in Rankin Inlet with manslaughter. That's in connection to a death in April. Nunavut RCMP say they responded to a report of a sudden death at a home on Inukshuk Avenue. Police later determined the death was suspicious. On Wednesday, they charged the suspect with the manslaughter of a 55-year-old man. The suspect is set to appear in court on December 15th. Transparency, accountability, and employee wellness. Those are some of the priorities for Nunavut RCMP's new commanding officer. The CBC's TJ Deer spoke with Chief Superintendent Kenton Pike about his vision for the police force.
It's called the Change of Command Ceremony, meant to recognize the outgoing commanding officer and welcome their replacement. Chief Superintendent Kenton Pike is now Nunavut's top cop. Pike, who also goes by Kent, has spent the last 16 years as an officer in the Northwest Territories and Nunavut. His predecessor, former Chief Superintendent Andrew Blackadar, says that experience will help Pike as he takes over.
He knows the North, he understands the North, and he certainly has taken it upon himself to know, learn, and embrace Nunavut and the culture here in Nunavut.
In his prepared remarks during the ceremony, Pike talks about officers who first come to the North, like himself.
I like to think I stayed in the North for the right reason, which is to help people and affect positive change.
Speaking with reporters afterwards, Pike said his biggest priority is to improve Inuit recruitment in Nunavut.
That brings lots of successes and some challenges, especially when it becomes time to have Inuit become regular members.
Only 4 out of the territory's 157 officers are Inuit. This translates to roughly 2%. The 4th officer completed their training in January. RCMP Commissioner Michael Duhaime recognizes the importance of recruiting new officers locally.
We want to recruit people from the community, bring them back to the community if they wish to do so. And the force, the organization has to be representative of the communities we serve.
Pike's other priorities include improving employee wellness, as well as transparency and accountability with the public. TJ Deer, CBC News, Iqaluit.
Places of worship in Iqaluit will not have to pay property tax next year. The city set the mill rate at a council meeting on Tuesday. That's a tax rate based on a property's assessed value. Iqaluit City Councillor Kyle Shepard says the decision makes sense.
Charged a full institutional rate, the same as government establishments, I think was an oversight at the time. The administrative burden that was placed on the city to provide relief after the fact was pretty substantial.
Shepard says that it also placed a financial burden on the places of worship. The mill rate for all other properties in the city is going to stay the same.
CBC Yellowknife is opening its doors on December 12th. Meet the people behind your community news during Trailbreaker and Trails End. Enjoy live music, grab a bite to eat, and watch our radio hosts go live from 6 to 9 a.m. and 4 to 6:30 p.m. Record a holiday video greeting for Northbeat and help make the season kind by bringing a non-perishable food item to support Food Rescue Yellowknife. See you on December 12th at CBC North in Yellowknife.
Enjoy this festive season.
Coming? Where? Why, to the North Pole, of course.
Enjoy the magic.
Happy birthday!
Hilarity.
I triple dog dare you!
We're all in for a very big treat.
Enjoy the excitement.
Tremendous, gargantuan, spectacular!
And wonder.
From the moment I met you, it's been an adventure.
Enjoy the holidays. Watch free on CBC Gem.
If there's one thing I know about Canadians, it's that we're kind. We want to help.
It doesn't take a big star.
Or millions of dollars.
All it takes is one can.
$1.
Or even 1 hour of your time.
In every corner of this country, people give.
To their friends, to their families, to total strangers.
And this season, we will give again.
Starting December 5th, help us make the season kind.
Find ways to give to food banks in your community at cbc.ca/kind.
Where does bravery live? It lives inside Cynthia Appia, who refuses to let the high cost of sports slow her down.
Welcome to the assembly.
Hell yeah, let's go.
What made you want to be interviewed by 40 neurodivergent interviewers?
Whoa. This is the most authentic conversation.
Oh, you make me cry.
Many Nunavut athletes are feeling disappointed with Arctic Winter Games schedule changes. The Games were previously held every 2 years. After the Games in 2026, it'll change to every 3 years until 2032. That means some athletes may age out of categories and have fewer chances to compete. Bianca McEwen reports.
Nia Pierce is excited heading into her 4th Arctic Winter Games, but she's also in shock over the new changes.
It is discouraging, and I was disappointed at first. I wish they didn't change it.
At 22, she competes in the open category of the Inuit Games, so she won't age out of her category, but she worries for younger athletes who might age out of their sport.
Somebody that could go at least 4 times within that age range can now only go either once or twice because of their age.
Pierce worries that with the change, athletes will be less motivated in their sport because 3 years is a long time to wait. The AWG International Committee says the change is meant to support the long-term stability of the Games and the athletic and cultural experience. John Rhoda is the committee's president. He says it takes 3 years for the host community to get ready for the Games.
Have to allow enough time for a host society to be created and put together all the pieces that it takes to actually put on an Arctic Winter Games.
Iqaluit was set to host the 2030 Games, but now that has been pushed to 2032. Marila D. Pewter is the Director of Sport and Recreation for the government of Nunavut. She says hosting in 2030 would have been a tough ask for the city.
Based on our, review, they would be able to host, but it wouldn't be at the full scale that we want to be able to host. So allowing another 2 years evaluates the opportunity to potentially add more sports to what Iqaluit could host.
Pierce says this is now an opportunity for Nunavut to create more regional or territorial competitions to motivate athletes in between games. Her advice to athletes?
Don't stop doing your sport and still have that motivation that you would have if it was still a 2-year cycle.
She hopes this change is just a pilot project and the Games resume as normal every 2 years after 2032. Bianca McEwen, CBC News, Iqaluit.
The Yukon Outfitters Association held its annual banquet outside of Whitehorse for the first time in many years. This past weekend, outfitters, hunters, and trappers gathered in Haines Junction to celebrate an end to a successful season. Isabella Calisi has more.
Outfitters from across the Yukon gathered in the St. Elias Convention Center to celebrate the end of the year, along with the usual festivities of a game meat dinner, drinks, dancing, a silent auction, and a mechanical bull ride. There was also a Heritage Award given out in recognition of one outfitter's 40-plus years of work. Rod Collin says he's honored to receive the award, but was surprised when the speech came up.
And when he said he lives here right in the community, I kind of muttered something nasty to myself. My wife turned and looked at me, and I said to her, I think I've been ambushed. And I think my wife had a fair bit to do with it.
Colin says his wife had been asking him questions the week before about his life before they met. She told him it was for his eulogy, not for a speech about him and the award. He says it was a nice surprise.
I mean, it's the only thing I've wanted to do since I was probably in my early teens. As soon as I was old enough to leave home and go to work for an outfitter, I did. Almost 50 years later, somebody steps up and says, "Good job, Rod." That's pretty nice.
Other outfitters, hunters, and trappers attended the banquet, including Chuck Schuin, the president of the Yukon Fish and Game Association. He says he likes to attend in recognition of the important bond between the two organizations.
Outfitters are also resident hunters. My point is that when it comes to the resource that we both hunt and fish, we need to cooperate on conserving it.
Schuin adds there are a couple of conservation efforts that outfitters, trappers, as well as fish and game collaborate on regularly, as everyone has the same goal of wanting more fish and game in wild spaces and understand measures sometimes need to be taken to protect it. Isabella Khaleesi, CBC News, Haines Junction.
Students in Inuvik, Northwest Territories are learning how to set fish nets under the ice. They are even cutting their own jackfish and learning how to prepare dry fish. It's all part of the East 3 School Cultural Program. The CBC's Des Loreen went to the river to check it out.
Inuvik youth are getting hands-on experience in a cultural practice. They're pulling fish from the Mackenzie River and learning how to cut and prepare them. It's all part of the East 3 School's approach to teaching local culture.
Not a ton of people really do it much anymore, so to be able to show our young students how to do this and how that process works is actually really important and something that I really love to teach these students.
The net, you have to break the ice. You have to do some stuff with both the sets so then it's ready to pull. And once you pull it, it's pretty much from there to see how many fish you get, yeah.
The camp gives every student an opportunity to learn traditional skills.
There you go. And now, we grab all the ducks and pull it out of the kid's head.
Not gonna lie, just seeing the eggs and stuff is just really interesting.
The fish camp program started last week and finishes next week. Des Loreen, CBC News, Inuvik.
An Indigenous artist from Northeast Saskatchewan is turning traditional beading into modern art. Fur and beads on unexpected objects evoke humor and uncomfortable emotions among those taking in the exhibit. Lisa Rism has that story.
Carrot River artist Marcy Friesen is unleashing her imagination and taking beading to the extreme.
It's still in my mind to bead bigger. I don't know what it's going to be yet, what it will look like, but I know it will come out eventually.
Her exhibit at the Mann Art Gallery in Prince Albert called Shoot the Breeze contains satire understood by many in the area.
I call it Indigenous slang. Skoden means let's go then. Studis means let's do this. And Bepsi is Pepsi.
She's woven the traditional 5-petal flower into a range of unique objects. Her art pieces include smoking fish and beaded cigarettes. In the past, she's beaded KFC buckets and COVID masks.
I like pieces also that make people think and maybe make them a little bit uncomfortable.
Her beadwork on Canadian currency is raising eyebrows.
Oh, I just come across as being humorous. Or a lot of times people will tell me I'm really cheeky. And I don't mean to be. It's just kind of a natural thing, I guess, that is happening as I'm making.
Friesen is a member of Cumberland House Cree Nation with both Cree and Welsh ancestry. She used to make and sell moccasins and clothing, but 6 years ago she moved away from that and began making statements through art. Now Friesen's creations are getting noticed in the art world at home and abroad. Some of her pieces have been on display as far away as New York.
Well, Marcy's work, it's highly attractive, it's alluring, it's done to such a high degree of technical craftsmanship and how she works with beads and with fur, but she's constantly exploring parts of her life.
Friesen now mentors aspiring artists. She teaches beading and moccasin making in schools, prisons, and community workshops.
I really want other people to have the same benefits that I've had because I've found my voice in creating art, and I want the same for others.
Lisa Rism, CBC News, Prince Albert.
Santa's sleigh hasn't quite left the North Pole yet, but he did recently fly into one of Saskatchewan's northernmost communities. It's a partnership involving airline Rise Air and the settlement of Uranium City. Aisha Ashraf tagged along for the ride.
Oh, oh, oh! Merry Christmas.
It's not a sleigh, but today I'm flying up to the most northern part of Saskatchewan with Santa.
They've been looking forward to it all week, and they are very happy that the weather was good to Uranium City and has brought Santa.
And what do you think an event like this means for the kids here?
A free school day. A lot of excitement. They're happy, they're looking forward to it. It brings the community together, which is always great.
I think it's really nice that they thought of us because, I mean, we're pretty isolated, so not many people do.
Once a bustling mining settlement, Uranium City now just has 80 residents. During the winter, the only way in or out is by ice road or an expensive plane flight, and that can make Christmas more challenging.
We plan ahead, like through the winter roads. We prepare for the upcoming year. You got to be three months ahead of every holiday up here. The kids enjoy it so much. This is not an everyday thing for them, so they're pretty excited. We're excited, and we're very grateful for Rise Air putting this through for us.
This is the 25th year of Santa in the North. They were excited. They were singing Christmas carols. They were ready for a great interaction, which I think from my observations everyone had. But yeah, it's just obviously very happy and joyful. And it's such a great time of year to be in community and meeting the kids and interacting in this way.
I'm thankful for it, and the kids and everybody, we're all happy.
I got a Lego piece. It's by Mario Kart.
So what's your favorite part of today?
Meeting Santa Claus. I was trying to act really good today to meet Santa Claus.
You on your good behavior? Yeah. Do you think you were on the nice list this year?
Sort of.
I like getting new presents.
I felt privileged to be here and share the joy with them, and we're excited.
And how was the ride over here without your reindeers?
It was good. It was good. A bit cold, but yeah, we keep moving. So, yeah.
It's a note.
Oh, thank you.
That's a wrap in Uranium City, Santa's final northern stop. From here, he's heading back to get ready for deliveries around the world. Aisha Ashraf, CBC News, Uranium City.
And as Aisha just told you, preparations for Santa's big night are well underway, and now he has been cleared for the NWT leg of his trip. The territorial government published its annual reindeer transport permit on Tuesday. It says all of Santa's reindeer, including Rudolph, will be visiting. This year's alternates include Garcia, Kyoko, Valentine, and Hot Frosty. We tried to reach out to Chris Kringle for an interview about these alternates and get the story, but we couldn't find his communications person. And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. I'm Megan Roberts. Have a good night.